I'm Pat TOPOLINSKI. Thanks for watching. We know you never want to miss an episode of Engine Power, so click the subscribe button, and there you go. It's the big subscribe button right there. Our 445 FE is back. A modern EFI system, along with a time-tested tunnel wedge intake, give it plenty of drivability and style. Hey everyone, welcome to Engine Power. Today we will revisit a project that was very popular with you viewers, and we have some new cool parts we are excited to try on it. We will be working on our Ford 445 cubic inch FE that made spectacular power with some easy bolt-on parts but still ran on pump gas. To see how this project came together, take a look. It started as a worn-out 390 FE, which had lived a hard life as a power plant in a dump truck. When we found it, the engine was hidden away in the corner of a salvage yard. A real diamond in the rough. Like many gearheads, we truly enjoy the challenge of taking a neglected jewel and restoring it to its former glory. We scraped off years' worth of grime, drilled out the seized exhaust flange studs, and with the help of our ARP cabinet, we replaced a bunch of missing or damaged fasteners to get the engine running. Extreme cases call for extreme measures. We poured several cans of SeaFoam motor treatment into the crankcase and primed the oil pump with a drill for a couple of minutes. The SeaFoam went in clear but came out black, taking decades worth of engine deposits with it. After priming and flushing the engine with conventional oil, we strapped it to the dyno. Believe it or not, it ran.
Fuel, here comes fuel. Ignition.
No leaks?
No leaks.
Oh my God, I'm excited. Yeah! It also leaked oil and was only running on 5 cylinders, but we could fix that. Once we tore into the engine, it did not take long to find serious wear and tear. Heavy engine deposits, thick sludge in the oil pan, and a timing chain that can only be described as floppy. We even found a bumper bolt in the water jacket. Now why the hell would that be in the water jacket? We cleaned the engine for about an hour in the NHRA jet washer, and unfortunately we discovered a big problem. One we couldn't see under all the grime and gunk. During magnetic particle inspection, we found several cracks in the block. Despite our disappointment, we were determined to build an FE, but we would need a new block. After hours worth of work, we finally got our replacement block cleaned, machined, and ready to rock. With the cylinder's torque plate honed 30 thousandths oversize and our new crankshaft going in, it pumps up the displacement to 445 cubic inches. We started with new cam and main bearings, followed by a cast steel Eagle crankshaft with a 4-250 stroke. The camshaft is a custom ground billet hydraulic roller from Comp Cams. The lobes are from their Extreme Marine High Lift series, which increases durability with extended run times. They work great in big blocks and engines with heavier valve train components. Comp also provided the billet double row timing set. The Pistons are MAHLE's PowerPak series with a 16cc dish. They are mated to a set of Eagle 4340 forged I-beam connecting rods that are 6/700 in length. The included ring package is a modern 1mm, 1mm, 2mm thick set. The rod journal is the same size as a big block Chevy, and the rod bearing clearance is between 23 and 27 10,000ths. A Melling high-volume oil pump will keep the engine well lubricated. We chose Milodon for the Windage tray, oil pickup, and 8-quart oil pan. With the ATI Balancer in place, true TDC is set, and the timing pointer is modified to indicate 0. On the top end, we made some big upgrades, starting with a set of TrickFlow PowerPort 175 cylinder heads. The combustion chamber is heart-shaped and measures at 70 cc's. The intake valve is 2190 and the exhaust valve is a 1625 diameter. The heads are a direct bolt-on for all 61 through 76 FE engines. Comp retrofit hydraulic roller lifters will move the valve train. Our freshly sandblasted intake splash guard goes in, followed by some beads of Permatex Right Stuff 90-minute gasket maker. The TrickFlow track heat intake manifold is a single plane design that has a basic operating range from 4,000 to 7,000 RPM. Perfect for our application. Our engine combination requires custom length push rods, and Trend Performance made it happen with a set of 8/900 long, 80 thousandths wall, 3/8 diameter pieces. No matter what you need, they can handle it. The heavy-duty shaft rocker assembly is from Harland Sharp. It has a 1.76 ratio with a 7/8 inch shaft and full needle-bearing construction for high horsepower and endurance builds. After several dyno runs and timing adjustments, we ended up with 36 degrees total timing. The engine laid down 583 horsepower and 562 pound-feet of torque.
We are super stoked to try out our new Trick induction package on this already stout performer. While we're at it, we'll give it a new clean look with a fresh coat of paint, and when we're done, we'll get it back on the dyno and see if this thing runs as good as it looks.
It's gonna look good. Coming up, why have one when you can have two? I'm with Team Summit NHRA funny car driver Tim Wilkerson, and we're talking about how to avoid some engine failures. Now, Tim, in our careers, we have seen our fair share of catastrophic engine failures.
Well, yeah, Pat, in our car especially, when you see an engine failure, there's a big problem. The body comes off, there's oil on the track, the driver's on fire.
But there are some common threads between failures and why they happen between street cars and race cars.
Yeah, you know, I was in the gas station business for 30 years. Always told my customers, start at the basics. Oil levels, coolant levels, make sure all that stuff is correct. Your car will perform better. Start there.
Now we have a few tools laid out that will help you not only diagnose or fix, but help avoid problems. One being a timing light.
Yeah, Pat, I mean, probably one of the most critical tools that gets used or misused, right? From our experiences through the years, that's a quality unit there. That timing light has some advance and some retard functions to it that you can actually set your timing on 0, look at your gauge and say, oh, I actually have 20 degrees of total advance. So really a neat tool.
Now for the modern stuff, a diagnostic tool that can tell you what's wrong with or what's going on without even popping your hood. Now on the old school side, we have some carb tuning stuff here. It's more of our speed, but having your fuel right and having the right amount of fuel go through it and the right type of fuel go through it, along with your timing, you can eliminate probably 99% of your problems.
Sure you can, and for the layman, they get themselves in trouble with this a little bit, changing jet sizes in your Holley carburetor. This is a kit made by Holley, and it's really a nice little kit. It's got every gasket in it and power valve in it. I guess, Pat, bottom line is most engine failures, they can be avoided from just simple maintenance.
TrickFlow is an industry leader in high-performance induction systems for a wide variety of power plants. From high-tech muscle to vintage iron, they are constantly creating product to make big power. They supplied our FE with a 175cc PowerPort head and their R-Series single-plane race intake. This package runs spectacular, but we can never leave well enough alone. TrickFlow has recently released a new R-Series dual 4-barrel tunnel wedge intake, and we are lucky enough to get our hands on one. This intake is an improved design over its OEM counterpart, but retains that same classic look, but with updated engineering. It has an O-ring sealed bottom plate, is designed to use the stock style dual throttle linkage, and it's only around 6.5 inches tall. This will give us that nostalgia look with greatly improved performance. We'll start by removing the spark plug wires and the distributor. The wedge distributor gasket seals up tight, even stronger than you might expect. Dang! You're probably wondering why we are messing with such a well-sorted combination. It's basically for two reasons. First is looks. We wanted the classic look of a dual 4-barrel muscle car engine like the factory race cars of the 60s. Second is improved drivability, which includes going from a single old school carb to a modern dual throttle body fuel injection. On an FE, you have to remove the valve train to remove the intake. We made sure to keep all of the pieces in order so they go back in their original position. The Permatex Right Stuff sealant on the intake works really well. We'll work slowly to remove it with a pry bar, chiseling the silicone from several angles until the manifold frees up. It's like wrestling a wild anaconda. There it goes. Whew. Very nice.
What's your joke of the day?
Holy moly. My joke of the day?
Yeah, what's your joke of the day?
You want a dad joke?
Sure.
Why are elephants not ever seen hiding in trees?
Why?
Because they're really good at it. Now that we've removed the headers, we can prep for paint by taping off the aluminum heads. We love the way they look and want to show them off by keeping them as is. We like using green masking tape to give us sharp, clean lines with no paint blow-by. We considered partial disassembly of the engine for painting, but if you're careful, you can get great results by just taping things off. We're going for a classic understated look on the FE. After laying down some primer, we'll use gloss black engine enamel with ceramic. Up next, the FE gets an easy to tune EFI system and heads to the dyno cell. We're almost ready to get the FE back in the dyno cell. But first, we have to get the intake sealed up and bolted down. What I like about TrickFlow stuff is everything fits extremely nice right out of the box.
Even in the runners and everything.
Yep.
Yeah,
Very, very nice.
it's nice.
All right,
Good stuff.
one step closer to the dyno.
For this particular build, we're using a dual 4-barrel manifold, but we want the luxury of modern fuel injection. Normally, dual carburetor configurations are complicated to set up and tune, especially if you're not used to doing it. FiTech has fixed that with their Go EFI 2x4 throttle body system. Their fuel injection package is very easy to use, fits on most dual quad manifolds, and has a clean fit and finish. It's rated from 250 all the way to 1200 horsepower, and with a built-in 2.5 bar map sensor, it's great for both naturally aspirated and blown applications. It also has an integral fuel pressure regulator and timing control that will actively retard timing for engines running boost or nitrous. The kit comes with everything you need, including a tidy wiring harness, a handheld touchscreen that can be hidden or dash mounted, and easy to follow instructions. This makes it as quick to install as a set of old style carbs and even easier to use.
The FiTech units fit perfectly where the old style carburetors would be. The linkage pulls in a straight line instead of using side pull with a bell crank, which is used on traditional tunnel ram setups. Always make sure the butterflies stay clear of the manifold opening. That way there's no binding at wide open throttle.
Looks good. Everything clears.
Oh, looks really nice.
Yeah, those two go together. And then the rest we can hide underneath the manifold.
All right.
Sweet.
Since the engine has been on the Superflow PowerMark dyno before, we already have the dyno setup all scienced out. The wiring of the FiTech system only needs a few simple connections. The comprehensive instructions make it super easy.
So before we start our engine, we need to go into the interface and set it up. So we're going to go into Go EFI initial setup, and then we'll go to engine setup so we can put in the parameters of our engine. Obviously, we're working with a V8, so we'll leave that. And then our cubic inches is obviously 445, not 350. So you can toggle through, or you can select, use the touch screen, and actually enter in the exact value. And then hit OK. And then you want to hit send to ECU after each selection so the computer saves it. So go down to our cam. It's a pretty stout engine, so we're going to go with 4. And that'll be it says mild to wild, 1 to 4, so 1 would be the tamest, and 4 would actually be the most aggressive cam. And then we'll raise our rev limiter to 7,000, just to have a good range. Again, because of the aggressive cam, we're going to raise the idle to 1,000. And then we are using our dyno fuel pump, so the system is not running a fuel pump for us. So just to be safe, we're going to take this all the way down to 0. And then we are using a tach signal off of our ignition box, so we'll leave that alone. And there's our initial setup, so the engine's ready to fire up.
One of the nice things about the FiTech system is you can hook up the fuel system in 3 different areas depending on how it goes in your vehicle. In the back, or there's a couple in the front, but there is only one return. The return hook's right here. These are internally regulated at 58 PSI, so as long as you have pressure over that, you're good to go. This fuel system is a return style though, so the return has to go back to your fuel tank. Having the right tool for the job is important. Matco Tools always comes through for you with innovative products that you can use to help your job go more efficiently and easier. One of my favorites is this 16-volt reciprocating saw. First off, there is no cord to plug in or to get tangled up with you or your work. It is powered by their Infinium battery technology that provides 16 volts of power in this handy setup. The inline design helps it get into tighter places, plus it has up to 3,100 strokes per minute, a quick change chuck for fast blade changes, and an easily adjustable depth of cut. It even has an LED light to see what you are doing. It comes with 2 batteries, its own charging station, and a nice hard case to keep things safe. To check it out and all of their other fine tools, visit their website at matcotools.com. Up next, it's dyno time. All right, you're all where you think you should be, right?
Yep, the setup's all good, should fire right up. AFRs are set for a base. Ooh, there you go.
Fired right up. All right.
Nice, okay. Yeah, there we go.
What do you think about them apples?
Nice. That is cool.
We get a little bit of oil temp in it, we'll get a bit of water temp in it. This is a self-learning system, so it needs some temperature range to adjust its fuel map, right? Now a little bit about this manifold. This is a harken back to when Ford had all their drag race stuff, their tunnel wedge stuff.
Long before I was alive.
Well, before I was alive too. Almost.
Almost.
But, the cool thing about this, we have modern, really controllable self-learning fuel injection on a vintage engine, which I really dig, and it makes everything way more tunable for street ability, for having it have really good manners. Even though it's got a lot of induction on it, it's going to have very good manners in a street car. So.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, and that's the biggest benefit, and that's why we wanted it for the project that goes in. We wanted something that is going to start up, drive, you're not going to have to mess with it, you're not going to have to touch it, just run it.
What we're going to do first is I'm going to make a pull from 4,000 to 6,000. That was nice and clean.
Yeah, that was.
Wow, okay. 575 for horsepower, 554.9 for torque. We are not high enough to max the engine out. We're right close to peak power, but
there's no way we would have thought it had manifold vacuum, but it definitely doesn't, which is awesome. That's always good to see. Doubt it would have, but still, always good to see.
Always good to see, because you know that nothing's the restriction up in those parts. Okay, so the fueling looked good. I didn't.
Yeah, the AFRs were pretty close. I think it was still learning a little bit.
Well,
but
we got you got the peak peeled way back, don't you? What do you have peak AFR for?
Yeah, I think it's set at like 12.3, so
that's nice and safe.
Yeah, nice and safe.
That's okay.
So.
And again, you can really put the screws to that. Make it lean and mean. That's not what we're gonna do right now, because I want to get another few pulls in it to have this thing learn.
Yeah.
I like the graph. The graph looks good.
Yeah, super nice.
I am going to, just to say we've done it, we're going to take it up to 6,500.
Okay.
This is not a full bore race engine. This is a street engine.
Yeah.
This system will run up to 1,200 horsepower worth of whatever you put under it.
Yeah.
Which that's impressive.
said it's not a race engine, but
No.
it sounds like one when it's up
Okay,
there.
I mean, we're up at 581 now for power, 557 pound-feet of torque. With everything looking good, we'll lean out the wide open throttle air-fuel ratio to see if we pick up a little power. Woo! That was meaner.
Oh, yeah.
Baby, there
Look
we
at
go.
that.
Okay. 587.7. Woo! That is nice, nice, nice. Carries power nice. 567 pound-feet of torque. Man,
Dang,
think
that's
about
cool.
that, apples.
That is sweet.
I mean, we could fuzz on it constantly, but that's extremely good power. Good
Yeah.
broad power band.
So that, I mean, even for the power, it's making over 550 all the way from like $5,000 all the way up. So
This is spectacular. That's a success right there.
yeah.
Nothing cooler if you pop the hood and you see dual carburetors, big headers, cool
yeah.
manifold, all that stuff. So, hey,
Yeah. It's a good engine.
just a good engine. I like that, just a good engine. If you'd like more information on anything you've seen today, head on over to PowerNationTV.com.